God bless brothers and sisters in Christ. I just want to go over some information, just go over some scriptures. I want to cover that believe in chicken commercial a little bit more because it's a great example of a revelation of method. And again, it just is riddled with so much uh, esoteric meaning and message behind it that I think it's important that God brought it to my attention for a reason. So again, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. It reads, lest Satan should get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right. Can you hear me? I just tried to go live and there was no sound, I guess, again. I don't know. Hey, let me know if you can hear me. Hey, can you? Okay, awesome. So 2 Corinthians 2:11, what does it read? Lest Satan should get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Now, in this context, let's look at this in context before we continue. But I determined thus in myself that I would not come again to you in heaviness, for if I make you sorry, who is he then that should make me glad, but the same which is made sorry by me? So I'm gonna go down and hold up and find out. So again, this is regarding if your brother sin against you, and if any hath caused sorrow, the same hath not made me sorry, but partly lest I should more charge him, you all. It is sufficient unto the same man that he was rebuked of any, so that no contrariwise ye ought rather to forgive him and comfort him, lest the same should be swallowed up with overmuch heaviness. Wherefore I pray you that you would confirm your love towards him. For this cause also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether you would be obedient in all things. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For verily, if I forgave anything to whom I forgave it, for your sakes for your sakes forgive I it in the sight of Christ, lest Satan should circumvent us. For we are not ignorant of his enterprises or his devices. So in this context, it's referring to forgiving your brother. But there are other enterprises, is what we're going to continue on, is there are other devices of Satan other than him using that as a stepping stool, right? Unforgiveness of not forgiving your brother, or not forgiving somebody who did you wrong. Those are all devices of Lucifer. Okay, but there are other devices of Lucifer, like deception, okay, pharmakia, witchcraft, black magic, the occult, all of these different things. Okay, and he is a liar. He's the father of lies, right? What does it read? In John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He hath been a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh, a lie, then speaketh he of his own, for he is a liar and the father thereof. So again, a device of Satan is also deception. Okay. So again, we're gonna look at we're gonna be covering a little bit more of that esoteric predictive programming believe in chicken commercial, because again, I just am compelled to just cover that a little bit more because it's a great example of predictive programming. It's a great example of how they put a cult right in front of your face. And yeah, it's just a good example. Matthew 10:16, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore as wise as serpent, but as harmless as doves, and as harmless as doves. Okay. We're not to be ignorant of these devices of Satan. Okay. For these agents, these Freemasons who do infiltrate literal churches. You have Freemasons who go into literal buildings and sow discord and false doctrine. You have witches who go into literal buildings, church buildings, and cast spells and do witchcraft and sow discord and do things like that. Yes. 1 Timothy 4:1, the Spirit clearly says that in the latter times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. We've been seeing an uptick in the individuals, again, the New Age, Christ consciousness. That is the complete twisting of Scripture. It's a working of Satan. Okay, Christ consciousness, chakras, the Kabbalah, all of that is the Kabbalah, just Jewish mysticism, and it's a false light. Okay, it's the false light of Lucifer. Okay, trying to deify yourself through knowledge or secrets, right? That does not equal the salvation of the soul, but that's the deception of Lucifer. That's the deception of the false light, the twisting of Scripture, the twisting of the absolute truth of the gospel. This is a quote by Manly P. Hall, a 33rd degree Freemason. When the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of man. This emphasizes his belief that understanding esoteric symbols and myths allows humanity to transcend the limitations of physical perception, uncovering deeper spiritual truths and inner wisdom. His belief. Keep that in mind. But this is what they believe. It's all the working and knowledge of Lucifer. The Kabbalah. Even numerology and gematria itself. But they use it to control, to manipulate, to cast spells. And they understand the spiritual realities of the realm, while they give us the trauma-based mind control school systems. They gave us gravity and Christopher Columbus. They told us an apple fell from the tree. And we're like, oh. Why they apotheosis themselves. And just completely, my friends, only a handful of people literally control everything that you see on TV. And they give us the bread and circuses. But again, before we continue, when the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, the language, okay, what we're about to watch is some revelation of method and language of symbolism. So what we're about to watch is a message being portrayed through symbolism. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you're sticking with me. The language. Notice that it said language of symbolism. Keep that in mind, my friends. Okay, there is a language to symbolism, or to their symbolism. Absolutely. A great veil will fall from the eyes of man, those who don't see. But this is why I'm here. I help my brother and sister in Christ see these things. Okay. So this is a Believe in Chicken KFC commercial that was released on June 14th, 2024. And we're just going to cover it a little bit more. And again, go into some new information.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
In light of events, it begs the question, what can we even believe in anymore?
All right, so now I'm going to give my commentary. Okay, first of all, we know that 9 plus 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We discussed that that's 33. That's our first 33 connection, pointing us to the amalgamation of duality, the final system being set up by the beast, the Antichrist. The Antichrist spirit is behind the formation of the beast system. The Antichrist has not been revealed yet, but his system is being revealed to the elect through discernment. But I caught a couple more clues that we haven't discussed. Yes, sister. We're gonna discuss some more things that we discovered through this revelation of method. All right. Again, before we go into breaking that down, revelation of method is a concept where those in power. Okay, again, our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against what? Spiritual wickedness, the princes of the darkness of this world, the governors of this world, who are the princes of the darkness of this world. All right, so again, a concept where those in power reveal their intentions or plans, often through media or other means, this includes a KFC commercial, as a way to subtly disclose the truth. This idea suggests that by revealing their actions, even in a cryptic or indirect manner, those in power can manipulate public perception, desensitize people to their plans, or fulfill a moral or ritualistic obligation to disclose their actions. So again, let's decode this real quick. First of all, we get the first 33 connection with just the timestamp of the length of this propaganda. The next thing we're going to get is put a one in chat if we're paying attention. Everything holds a meaning to Freemasons. Everything. They don't waste anything. So just if you don't have to put a one in the chat, but if you're sticking with me, put a one in the chat because it's going to be quick. All right. So right when it kicks off, listen to what you hear and watch the camera. Listen to what you hear and watch the camera cut. Watch this.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations.
So did you see that? Put a one in the chat if we all saw the camera cut over to the radio that said artificial intelligence. I'm going to tell you exactly why they did that. It's going to be right in front of your face. You ready? Watch this.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence.
What do you see right when it says artificial intelligence? Change, because that's exactly what AI is going to do to people. It's going to change them. And notice right after it says change, she starts tweaking out
about recent accusations that he's not real.
Wow. Put a one in the chat if you caught it. Let me play it again. This is no joke. And mind you, again, it says news at 11. 11 represents the pillars of Freemasonry. This is all about the amalgamation of duality. Okay. The synthesis, the final system. Okay. The merging of technology and biology, biodigital convergence, the mark of the beast. Listen.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
That's what it is. She starts being controlled through the frequencies. Then what this scene represents, okay, again, what I also found out is that 2030 or 2029, excuse the yelling in the background, that 2029 going into 2030 is the year of the rooster. Okay. And it's not only the year of the rooster, but it's going into the year of the dog. And that's going to be very telling in a couple moments when I reveal some information about dog. All right. But yes, this is insinuating Agenda 2030. 2-3. Again, we talk about 33. All right. So Agenda 2030, 2-3 or 33. The year 2029 going into 2030 is the year of the rooster. Interesting. And notice we get the golden egg again, going into the Kumeyan Sybil prophecy of the golden age of the reign of Saturn. We talk about the Kumeyan Sybil prophecy. I would need to cut off this whole thing to show you what I'm talking about. But from those who know, gold goes into the golden age, the Kumeyan Sybil prophecy of Saturn's reign. Gold goes into Apollo. Obviously, egg is symbolizing the birthing of this system. But again, we see the rooster walking in the back. And again, I believe that is insinuating 2029, 2030, which is again 33, which is when they want this system in place. Okay. Or the mark of the beast system, the beast system, which is basically biodigital convergence and transhumanism. Okay. The solvent coagula. All right. So they go from this to this. All right. Then we all know that Satan fell from heaven like lightning. All right. So they give you the lightning bolt right after they show you the rooster in the rear view mirror. Right. Let's look at this. Then immediately after they do that, it cuts to this. This is where they channel, or where Lucifer enters. Put a one in the chat for paying attention. This is where it gets pretty damning on them. This is where they really expose themselves and what their language and what they're trying to imply. Okay, so here we have the twin pillars of Freemasonry. We got that good old 11, like the news at 11 that was announcing that the prime minister was artificial intelligence and nobody knows what to believe anymore. Yeah, 11. So again, 11, before we continue, represents or is symbolic of the twin pillars of Freemasonry. Okay, the twin pillars of Freemasonry represent opposites, okay, or duality, the divide and conquer. Okay, so for instance, the left-right paradigm, Republican, Democrat, are manifestations of this theology. Okay, so basically, if you're in the left or right paradigm, you're basically consenting without even knowing it. You're in the occult. But we're gonna continue from that information. But again, this would represent heaven. This would represent earth. This would represent male, female, female, male, heaven, earth, earth, heaven, man, beast, beast and man. Basically, the duality. And what this would represent is the amalgamation of those dualities, or the synthesis, the solvent coagula. And what all of that points to is who they worship, which is the Baphomet. The Baphomet, which is both male and female, man and beast. Okay. He is as above, so below. Here we have, again, light and darkness, darkness, light. Okay, and obviously the false light on his head, but this is who they worship. And again, this is the solve and coagula. All right, the merge and the final system. Okay, the 33. Again, and what do you see on his forehead? We're going to get into this star, my friends. When you see this, it's not a star. Okay, it's a satanic symbol. We've been programmed to believe that it's just the star on the United States. It's a star. No, it's a satanic symbol. Okay, and we're going to get into that. Remember this symbol right here, the 5-pointed star. Remember that. Okay, because we got some interesting things to talk about regarding that as well. But yes, the amalgamation of duality, man and female, man and beast, heaven and earth. Yes. So again, here looking at the Freemason Lodge, it's basically a channel. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you're beginning to understand how this is a manifestation of them worshiping this. Okay. It's facts. Freemasonry is Luciferianism. Okay. Freemasonry. Where's the Freemason logo? Freemasonry is Luciferianism. That's the Freemason compass. And this is the sigil of Lucifer. Okay. It's all the same thing. And these individuals are in the Kabbalah and they're agents of the devil, Mr. Trumpster. But let's go back to, again, this scene where they give us the twin pillars of Freemasonry. They give us the 11 and they give us the checkerboard floor. And again, what makes it even more damning is, again, as we pointed out before, is that you see the door open with the fox, okay, the orange fox on the black and white checkerboard floor, which is, again, no coincidence. That is absolutely no coincidence. That's, I mean, if you know anything about Freemasonry, you know that that is exactly what it is. It's symbolic for duality, the dualities of creation. Okay, as above, so below. And it's basically symbolic of the merging of dualities, okay, which is what they want to do to you. All right. So again, looking at this advertisement,
In light of recent events,
and it cuts straight to the fox on top of the duality checkerboard floor. Now, if you didn't know, what makes this so damning is that fox in gematria gives you 666. That's what makes this very obvious occult symbology. Okay, so like Fox News, fox in gematria is 666. So again, looking at the language of symbolism, we covered that. The language of symbolism, we can see that the amalgamation of duality is the beast. We all know that the number of the beast is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So again, if we go back to this
Accusations that he's not real.
the coming of the beast, Satan falls from heaven, Satan enters, right? Bam, we got the door open. We see the fox immediately, which is CGI. If you were watching it in person, this fox is CGI'd in. So it's all by design. It's exactly how they want it. They give you the pillars. They give you the Freemason floor. And what do you know? What do you see? A orange fox, again, representing symbolically, showing you the ushering in of the beast system. And an aspect of the beast system is mind control through AI. That's why you see this.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence.
It cuts right when it says artificial intelligence, it cuts to this, change. Because through AI, people are going to be changed
About recent accusations that
under
he's not
complete
real.
mind control, hive mind. She starts tweaking out. But right when the music starts, she begins to dance because they're going to be changed
Welcome
through
to the news
AI,
at 11, where we'll be
nanotech,
chatting to the Minister
smart
for
dust.
Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
Right when the music starts, she starts tweaking because she's changed. Here you hear again, 2029 going into 2030 is literally the year of the rooster. Where's this slide? You can't even make that up, man. Hold up. Give me a second. 2029, 2030, year of the rooster. And this is where it gets super duper interesting, my friends. It says the year of the dog. Yes, we're going to address that, which makes it even more damning. The year of the rooster, 2029 to February 2030. Interesting. This takes us again into Agenda 2030. Okay, we hear about Agenda 2030. Remember, we're talking about individuals who control basically everything you see on television. So put a 1 in chat if we're sticking with me. We're talking about the powers that be showing you through revelation of method to avoid karma, because again, Saturn is the god of karma. So they're doing it through religious obligation. They do these type of predictive programmings, these revelations of method. They do it. So they show you in every single way their agenda. These are things. These aren't isolated incidences. Okay. We're freaking watching a KFC commercial, basically insinuating the coming of the Antichrist and the merging of technology and mind control, a hive mind. Like, that's how deep this goes, my friends. But if you look at, again, the year of the rooster, 20, and again, don't forget this. This is damning in itself. If they're about to bury themselves with their symbology, they're going crazy. So the year of the rooster is 2029 to 2030. So again, if we go back to the scene, just mind you, this commercial was released in 2024, my friends. Okay. Again, this is the. I hope I didn't delete it. Okay. Yes, they have to get our consent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Revelation of method. So again,
In light of recent events.
in light of recent events, and then again, they give you the orange fox. Again, orange in gematria is 33. It's also 6. 6 is the hex. 6 is symbolic of the physical, the material realm, the god Saturn. 6, the hex. Okay. And again, orange also gives you 33. So they give you a orange fox, fox being 666 on the culmination or the amalgamation of duality checker 4. It's right in front of your face. I hope you guys are sticking with me, man. I'm trying the best that I can, but they're literally showing you that what their plans are. And again, it says it begs the question, what can we even believe anymore? Because again, this goes into the altering of the perception of reality, my friends. Strong delusion. Ian talks about strong delusion. This is about people, my friends, strong delusion. We're talking about a system is being implemented right now under the guise of convenience, human ingenuity, health and safety, evolution. A system is being put in place right now. You have individuals who are completely oblivious, who are living in a system that's taking them into the next system. That's strong delusion. They're being given artificial intelligence, which is, again, dragging them into this new system. It's all, again, being promoted as convenience, right? Technology is so convenient. It makes our lives so much convenient. The whole time, it's strong delusion. It's the working of the fallen ones. And it's giving humanity a sense of a deification or a false light. That we have the knowledge now to be like gods. We have the knowledge now to we don't even have to worry about death anymore. Now they're promoting immortality through advanced technology. Yeah, you can trade your conscience in and you can be immortal. This is fallen angel tech, my friends, and this is fallen angel devices. Things like this is a darn KFC commercial. And they're using it to channel and manifest their agendas and to get our consent through a lack of knowledge and individuals seeing these things for what it is. Yes, it's entertaining, but is it entertainment? The movies, everything we consume, everything, the system, the matrix. It's entertaining, but is it entertainment? This is a commercial, but is it a commercial? It even tells us in the commercial that people, since the current events, people don't know what to believe, mocking you in your face. The power of the air. Remember, the Bible says Satan is the prince of the power of the air, literally. He's the prince of the power of the air. Frequency is a power of the air, my friends, whether you want to believe that or not. Frequencies are a power of the air. What is this commercial insinuating? It tells you right in the beginning.
Welcome to the news at 11. Where we'll be
Remember, 11, the news at 11. It could have been news at 10. It could have been news at 4. No, it's the news at 11. Is that coincidence? No, the 11 represents the pillars because this is ushering in the beast. It's like a channel, like a portal. Think of it like a portal. Okay? Think of it like a portal. Listen to what it says.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence.
Right when it says artificial intelligence, it cuts to this word that's blatant. No other words in this whole scene are as visible as this word change. Interesting. And right when it says artificial intelligence, it clips to that scene and clips off. That's a coincidence, guys. And notice when the music starts. Listen. Music is frequency.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
Immediately, when the music starts, she tweaks. Bam. Come on, bro. You can't tell me that's not what these people are saying in this KFC commercial, bro. There's a reason why God brought this to my attention. I'm not even kidding you, bro. This commercial randomly popped up on my feed, like randomly. And it's like literally predictive programming of, and then we're about to go into patents about smart dust, man. And our cells being manipulated through frequencies. Bro, this is not a game. You can't tell me I'm tripping, bro. You cannot tell me I am tripping, bro. That could be a dive. Oh my gosh. This is a dive, bro.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
Right when the music starts, she tweaks. Come on, bro. Mind you, we already were shown the rooster. The year 29 going into 2030 is the year of the rooster going into the year of the dog. I'm going to address the dog. Y'all are going to be blown. It's going to click when I address the dog, the year of the dog. It's going to click like bam. But I'm taking it slow. We're only 38 minutes in, man. But my friends, this is basically predictive programming about complete mind control of the people who are under the strong delusion of the beast system and the Antichrist, because it's the Antichrist spirit that's setting up the beast system. The Antichrist is in the full vessel of Mr. Trumpster. Is he the Antichrist? Oh, that'll be revealed in due season. But he is 100,000,000% operating under the spirit of the Antichrist. Okay, he's a biblical character. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to go into perdition. But he's a MAGA. He's exactly who he says he is. He's a false Christ, deceiver. And he's going to help build the third temple. That's not a joke. And we're living at the end of the ages. The final kingdom of iron mixed with clay. And they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister for Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
Again, they show you the rooster in the rear view with the egg. They show you the rooster in the rear view with the egg, because again, this is all about the birthing of this is what they're doing. They're building the infrastructure. They want it done by 2030, right? The year 2030, right? The year 33. So again, I believe this is insinuating the birth and the building of the infrastructure. Remember, this commercial was released in 2024. It was released in 2024. Again, gold obviously is a reference to Apollo. Gold is also a reference, could be a reference to the golden age. Again, this is going back onto the Kumeyaun Sibel prophecy, which we're going to address here in a couple minutes. Many people aren't familiar with Novus Ordo Seclorum, where that is derived from. It's on our your dollar bill, which is a talisman, and it served its purpose. And now we're being finalized into the final beast system. Let's go back to the egg. It's being finalized. Come on now. They show you the egg for a reason. They show you the rooster. It's under the egg. Above the egg, giving birth. Again, the year 29 going into 2030 is the year of the rooster. The year of the dog follows. We're going to cover that. Satan fell like lightning down from heaven.
In light of recent
Pillars of Freemasonry.
events,
666, Orange Fox.
what can we even
believe in anymore?
believe?
New news at 11. It could be any other number, but of course it's new news at 11. Because again, that's symbolic of the twin pillars of Freemasonry, like the Twin Towers, the 11s. Okay? Divide and conquer, my friends. That's what 9/11/2001 was, man. Trauma-based mind control. Divide and conquer.
Even anymore.
What can we believe in anymore? Then, of course, I discussed this. You see the arrow going around in circles from up to down, up to down. That is, again, representing the amalgamation of duality, or as above, so below. And again, everybody tweaked out. Everybody tweaked out from the frequencies. They're all tweaking out under some sort of mind control, hive mind, right? We just had Donald Trump with the bee in his hand. So this is more, again, insinuating that hive mind mentality. Okay, this is a blatant reference to mind control. And again, I think it's pretty interesting that the year 29 going into the year 2030 is the year of the rooster. So I think that's very interesting. And again, that led me to the information that the following is the year of the dog. That 2030 is the year of the dog. Now that's going to take us into our next information, or it's going to take us really, again, they give us the blatant imagery of the coming of the lawless one, the Antichrist. Again, this takes us into this pattern right here that I've been addressing for the last couple of days regarding smart dust usage. Smart dust. Come on, bro. And people try to tell me we're not living in the end of the ages. They have smart dust, like dust. You kind of like dust your fan and there's dust on it. Well, they have smart dust. Okay. Again, that takes us to the prophecies of Daniel. When men shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So again, for those who haven't heard, again, looking at the patent number, we're given 11, 12, 666. 11, 12 would be 2, 12 would be 3. That's 2, 3. So that's another 33 connection. Again, 33 is symbolic of the amalgamation. And it also, 33 also gives you the Star of Renfort. Okay. 33, three sides to a pyramid, one going up, one going down, gives you the Star of Renfort, the Star of Saturn, Talisman of Saturn, whatever you want to call it, Black Cube of Saturn. And again, this can be decoded into 666. Okay, it's basically a symbol of the Antichrist. All right. Saturn being connected to, they love Saturn. Saturn is Satan. Saturn is basically the god of the Matrix, the god of this world. Okay, and a lot of, esoteric, teachings. But 11, 12, again, that's 2. 12 is 3. 2 3s, 33, which would give you the 666. And B1 is a B2 1, or the 2 becoming 1, the amalgamation of duality, the 2 becoming 1, just like 9/11, 2001, right? The 2 becoming 1. All right, we're going to talk about this ritual here in a second, but we're going to kind of stay on track. But yes, the amalgamation of duality, the 2 becoming 1. All right, the final amalgamation, the final phase, whatever you want to call it, the end game, it's here. Okay. Biblical prophecy, Revelation 18:23. All nations being deceived by pharmakia. Okay. 11, 12, that is 33. The 33 would give you the 666. B1 is the 2 becoming 1. They're telling you that you're merging with the beast. And then June 7th is 6-7. As above, so below. 6-7 also gives you 13. 13 is also connected to the 13 royal bloodlines. And 13 also has other occult esoteric meanings to it as well. 13 is very important to them. But a main number one function of 13 is 6-7. 6-7 is also indicative of Saturn. Saturn being the 6th planet from the sun with 7 rings. That's 6-7. So another Saturn reference. Again, Saturn, that takes us straight back to what? The talisman of Saturn. Because Saturn is Satan. And they worship Saturn. They worship Satan. Okay? It's all the same thing. It all goes back to our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the governors of this world, who are the princes of the darkness of this world. That is a verse in Geneva. They altered the version in King James. So you will find that version in the Geneva version, that the governors of this world are the princes of the darkness of this world. All right. And this shape should be a little bit familiar as well, is because we see that shape in the Operation Warp Speed logo. All right. Because he is a, and we're going to discuss this character here in a second as well. We also get the cube and Saturn's hex with the as above, so below pyramids on the made up coronavirus, because it was never a virus. It was biological warfare, chemical warfare, and radiation poisoning that we were all dealing with through the 5G towers, directed energy weapons, frequencies. We were all being affected and we were under attack. There was never any virus. But here you have the as above, so below pyramids, which give you the hex. And this corona is actually covering, you can actually see them. They put the cube there. They put the lines of the cube there. But this again represents the matrix, the hex. And of course, they give you the good old 6-7 or 13 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They give you the 6-7 because this is Saturn. They even give you the ring of Saturn around and the circle in the middle with the ring around, which is indicative of Saturn. Again, there's a literal hexagon on the wandering star Saturn. We got some interesting stuff to cover tonight, my friends. But there is a literal, here it is, there is a literal hexagon on the wandering star Saturn that rotates on the North Pole of Saturn. You mean like how Santa lives in the North Pole? Santa, Satan, North Pole. Interesting. But yes, there is a hexagon on the North Pole of Saturn. Okay, there you see the black cube. You can kind of make it out already. But there is a hexagon. So we get that same shape here. Okay. And you can make the cube, a three-dimensional cube. All right. So again, this is all about the merging. Okay. Looking at the patent. All right. Systems and methods that facilitate authenticating a user making a payment. All right. This is where it gets interesting, because according to scripture, he's going to force all, both small and great, rich and poor, and free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. So again, this is about making payments. So we can already discern, if we have any discernment, if we're studying ourselves to prove that this is an aspect of the mark of the beast system. Okay, because it has to do with the ability to buy, sell, or trade. And again, this is indicative of transhumanism, biodigital convergence, and the final system being set up right before our face. And it's disguised and it's strong delusion. Those who cannot see this system being set up are under strong delusion, period. That's what it is. Okay, this system is being set up under the guise of health. This system is being set up under the guise of advancements in AI. It's just wicked stuff, man. Systems and methods that facilitate authenticating. Systems and methods that facilitate authenticating a user making a payment using micro electromechanical systems, or MEMS devices, i.e. smart dust. Okay, the MEMS devices may have sensors that collect data and transfer it to a base device. The MEMS devices can collect sensor data, including biometric data and or capture images of the person. The MEMS can also collect sensor data such as audio data, optical data, temperature data, pressure data, and motion data, and compare it to data associated with a user profile to determine that the person making the payment is the same person associated with the user profile. Why do they want to do that? Because they care about you. Because they don't want anybody to use your data. So because they care about you, they want you to be inhaling smart dust because they care about you, right? Wrong. This is the implementation of the beast system. And this is what Brother Ian was talking about with the divine intervention, divine protection. Because how can we possibly hide from smart dust? How can we possibly hide from super intelligence, AI, cameras everywhere, drones, chemtrails, biochemical warfare? How can we be hidden from these things except by divine intervention? and supernatural protection. All right. So again, walking in faith and trusting in the living God, even knowing this type of knowledge, even being aware that they are using and using smart dust and using chemtrails to depopulate the masses. Okay. Trusting in the living God. All right. The MEMS devices can collect sensor data going down again because they care about you. With a user profile to determine that the person making the payment is the same person associated with the user profile, guys, it's fine. They just want to make sure, right, once the person's identity has been confirmed and thus authenticated, the payment request can be confirmed and payment made via either a mobile device or credit card. How convenient. There's that word again. And if you don't believe me, this is a patent. I mean, look at this. I mean, I'm not saying I understand any of this, but I mean, I know that's a person. And I guess this is the dust. Oh my goodness, these people are wicked, dude. Look what they've limited us to. This, a little etching. And we were made in the image and likeness of God. Wow. We don't even get a smile or anything. We're just a circle and a body. Wow. But yes, my friends, smart dust. Okay. And again, this is taking us straight into our topic of tonight, of the two becoming one. The two becoming one, like Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. Yeah. Event 201, 9/11/2001. Interesting. We're going to connect some dots, Lord willing, tonight. Maybe some dots you haven't connected before. That's what I'm here. Okay. This is another United States patent. Farrington nanoparticle compositions and methods to modulate cell activity. Okay. The present invention provides methods and compositions for the remote control of cell function based on the use of radio frequency waves to excite nanoparticles targeted to specific cell types. I mean, that's all we would need to know, man, is that cells can be manipulated through frequency. I mean, is that not enough? I mean, add that technology with the fact that people could possibly have AI in them, smart dust in their body. I mean, we got to put two and two together, my friends. We got to put two and two together. Solve and coagula. What is solve and coagula? Solution and coagulation. Component elements being synthesized into a new substance. Interesting. Sort of like how the Christ said, those who believe in me are a new creation. Oh, yeah. So we see how Lucifer wants to be like the Most High. Right? Component elements being synthesized into a new substance. Yes, Sister got it. The Internet of Bodies. Absolutely. This is a real thing. Component, again, elements being synthesized into a new substance and of the heavenly, thereby manifesting into the earthly. And when it says heavenly, it means his agenda, his temple, his heaven in this corrupt realm, because he is the God of this world. And again, before we go on to some little bit other information, yes, literally 9/11 is IXXI in Roman numerals, and that gives you the hex or the cube, because it all goes back to this: Saturn, Satan. It's all connected. We're going to get into this information here in a second. All right. But again, understanding the pillars of Freemasonry, Boaz and Joachim. Boaz is created female, earth, night, moon, darkness. Joachim is creator, male, heaven, day, sun, light. The merging of those give us that. Or the G being the seventh letter of the alphabet. G, or completion, spiritual completion. Here above what? The duality, the amalgamation of duality. This is basically solving coagula. Put a 1 in the chat if you begin to see that Freemasonry is basically a device of Lucifer. And they want to do this to you through advanced technology. Okay? They want to make you into a new substance or a new creature, a new temple. All right? Through what they believe. Okay, 9/11, 2001, the twin pillars of Freemasonry, symbolizing Boaz and Joachim. The solve and coagula, or coagula and solve, with the One World Trade Center, with the literal as above, so below pyramids in the design of the building. Okay. To the Luciferians, the color purple is a symbol of merging opposites, the polar opposites together. An amalgamation of duality as seen with the Baphomet. Okay? That's what it comes down to. The amalgamation of dualities. And what's really interesting is looking at the fourth industrial revolution, also known as 4IR, Industrial 4.0, or the intelligence age, is a neologism describing rapid technological advancements in, what do you know, the 21st century. There's that two becoming one again. So as just as coincidentally as the 21st century, the 21, the two becoming one century, it includes the actual what? Merging. That's just coincidence. A part of this phase of the 21st century, a part of this phase of industrial change is the joining of technologies like artificial intelligence, gene editing, to advanced robotics that blur the lines between physical, digital, and biological worlds. This is the beast system. This is strong delusion. This is strong delusion, or an aspect of strong delusions, many lies. It's the final system of systems. Okay? Again, this is Daniel 12 manifesting. This is revelation. Daniel 12 is just as revelation, as prophetic as the revelation. Daniel. That a time of trouble is coming. But if we go down, what does it say? For those who are new, I'll just read just real quick. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Listen. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even till the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Listen. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto the heavens, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Remember, the Antichrist is coming to wage war with the saints and shall overcome them. He's going to scatter the power of the holy people. Listen. And I heard, but I understood. Listen, let's put it one chat. You don't have to. But listen, this is important. This is it right here. Listen. Daniel said, and I heard, but I understood not. Are we listening? This is where we should be paying attention. Because Daniel just said he heard, but he understood not. So what do you mean, Brother Daniel? Listen. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? Listen. And he said, the Lord said, go thy way, Daniel. He reminded him, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Listen, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So the wise who are living in the time of the end are going to understand. He was telling Daniel was like, what are these wonders? What are these things? I don't understand. The Father told Daniel, these words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. He's telling Daniel, you don't have AI in your lifetime. Remember, it says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Daniel, it isn't your time. Shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. So those who are living in the time of the end these words are going to be revealed to them. Okay? Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate, that is referring to the abomination of desolation, that's set up, the image of the beast, that's set up to be worshipped. There shall be 1,290 days. Remember, and remember, at the abomination of desolation, great tribulation kicks off. Yeah. At the abomination of desolation is when great tribulation kicks off. And what does it say? Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand and thy lot at the end of the days. He's telling Daniel, you're going to go fall asleep. You're going to pass away, but you're going to stand in thy lot at the end of the days. Again, that's a double whammy on the fact that he was letting Daniel know that these prophecies, this time of trouble, this right here, this time of trouble is going to be for those for the time of the end who live in revelation, the seals being open, revelation, the day of the Lord. There are going to be those who are living. There's going to be those who are living in revelation. We are those, my friends. We are living in the final kingdom of iron mixed with clay. Again, in the same book, Daniel. Men shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Daniel 2:4-3, and where thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay and earth, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. But they shall not join one with another, even as iron is not mixed or cannot be mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, meaning there's a coming an end to this kingdom. Remember, the fall of mystery, comma, Babylon the Great. We're going to be here for it. And the Father says, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins and her judgments. That means do not fall for the strong delusion of convenience. The system that we've been under this whole time, the matrix system. We've been asking the Lord, praying, Lord, when are we going to be done with this system? When are we going to be saved? When is the world going to be healed? When are you going to return? Well, revelation has to happen first. And again, where do we derive the word revelation? Revelation is the English translation of the Greek word apocalypsis, which means the unveiling or disclosure of things previously unknown. Revelation, you mean just like Daniel 12? You mean just like how the Father said to Daniel, only the wise shall understand? Revelation? Yes, revelation. Okay. Jesus told the Pharisees, it's good you can discern the face of the skies, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. Are we discerning the fact that they're setting up 15-minute cities and the beast system is being set up by the Antichrist spirit and everything are we discerning these things? All right. And where thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay and earth, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not join one to another, even as iron cannot be mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. It's the millennial reign of Jesus Christ right here. And this kingdom shall not be given to another people, but it shall break and destroy all these kingdoms and shall stand forever. Okay, this is prophetic. This is prophetic. Where thou sawest that the stone was cut out of a mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay and silver, and the gold, so the great God hath showed the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is true, and the interpretation thereof is sure. Okay, this takes us again. Men shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Biodigital convergence is the merging of biological and digital technologies. Again, this takes us into wearable technology, meta glasses, all these different things that they're trying to promote as fashion, subconsciously and subliminally programming you, deceiving you through the convenience of this technology. Right? Strong delusion, lying signs and wonders, biodigital convergence is the merging of biological and digital technologies where digital systems and living organisms interact, communicate, or physically integrate. Interesting. Another aspect, another large scale example of revelation of method, event 201. There it is again. Event 201, the two becoming one. COVID-19 was event 201. But of course, they tell you this training tabletop exercise is based on a fictional scenario. The inputs, experts, yeah. Yeah, Fauci was an expert too, right? Where's he at? This training tabletop exercise is based on a fictional scenario. The inputs experts used for modeling the potential impact were fictional. It is a teaching and training resource for public health and government officials because they care about you. But let's see what is Event 201? In recent years, the world has seen a growing number of epidemic events amounting to approximately 200 events annually. These events are increasing and they are disruptive to health, economies, and society. Managing these events already strains global capacity, even absent a pandemic threat. Experts agree that it is only a matter of time before one of these epidemics becomes global, an epidemic or pandemic with potentially catastrophic consequences. A severe pandemic which becomes Event 201 would require reliable cooperation among several industries, national governments, and key international institutions. And what do you know? When did they hold this Event 201, the two becoming one? On October 18th, 2019, right before Mr. Good Old COVID. And what makes this even more damning is that we're going to make another 88 connection. 88 takes us into our next topic for today, the Mr. Trumpster. But if we look at when they held this predictive programming revelation of method event 201, is they held it on October 18th. First of all, 18 is 666. But it gets even better. October 10, 18 is 118. 118 would be 28 or 88. 2 8s. 88. Remember that 88, please, for me. Remember that 88. But they held this event on 2/8/2019. Of course, it ends at 33. But they held this Event 201 predictive programming revelation of method event, this global pandemic exercise, the two becoming one. Again, COVID-19 stands for Certificate of Vaccination Identification Artificial Intelligence. 19, as above, so below. 19, as above, so below, like COVID-19. Interesting. But the two becoming one. Now, again, the 88. Why is 88 important? Why is 88 important? Well, because Trump and Gematria is 88. This is where it gets real interesting. Okay. Trump and Gematria is 88. Not only is it 88, but it's 47. 47 is 11. 11 is the pillars of Freemasonry. But Trump is 88. Okay. What's also 88 and 47 is Beast. And it's also 11, which is 7 plus 4, 11. Trump is the 45th and the 47th president, or 9/11. But Trump is 88. And when was the pandemic going on? Under Trump's presidency, or 88. So they held this Event 2 becoming 1. This event 01 on October 18th, 2019, which is 88. Very interesting. It gets even more interesting because the Trumpster is infatuated with Apollo. Let me go down to it. The Trumpster loves Apollo. His 66th floor penthouse is decked out in complete gold, right? Which is again indicative of Apollo and Saturn. But did you know that Apollo is also the god frequently depicted with a silver or golden bow and a quiver of arrows, symbolizing his role as the god of archery, plague, and his victory over the serpent? Listen, watch this. Watch this. Look at this, my friends. In Greek mythology, Apollo is a dual-natured deity who can both bring and stop plagues, embodying the roles of both bringer in of disease and a divine healer. Interesting. So again, the event 201, which was supposed to be what? What is event 201 according to this tabletop exercise? What is event 201? A pandemic, a global pandemic. This global pandemic exercise was held on 88. Trump is 88, or Mr. Apollo, who brings in plague and also is the healer of plague. Interesting. And again, when he did finally come out with the cure for the plague, it's another plague because the vaccines were a plague. Okay? It was AI. It was the beginning of it was a plague, man. The vaccinations was a bioweapon. Okay, and it goes into transhumanism. It's a part of the digital public infrastructure. But don't you think it's just such a convenience that, again, he gives us the Operation Warp Speed, which is basically a talisman to Saturn, because they give you the as above, so below pyramids. They give you the hex, Saturn's hex, which again, it gives you the cube, and they give you the 13, as above, so below. Trump also, again, being obsessed with Apollo, and Apollo being an individual who has dual capabilities of both starting plague and healing plague. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Again, orange equals 33. And of course, they give you the globe. All right. The two becoming one. All right. Dissolve and coagulate. Okay. It's satanic. Is Latin alchemical phrase meaning dissolve and coagulate, break down and join together. The two becoming one. The amalgamation of duality. Again, if you're still in the left-right paradigm, that's exactly why he wore a purple tie during his inauguration. Here you go. You have a star right here, but again, it's not a star, but we're gonna get into that. But again, it's why the Trumpster wore a purple tie during his inauguration Freemason initiation ceremony. Because again, purple is symbolic of the synthesis. Okay. Again, the left-right paradigm is a object of order out of Cal or order out of chaos. They keep you divided. Okay. Whole time you're being guided into the synthesis. You're a part of order ab Cal. You're literally doing it for them. Okay, break down conflict and agitate both sides until a unification of two is brought forth, a new paradigm, a synthesis. Okay. To the Luciferians, the color purple is a symbol of merging the polar opposites together, an amalgamation of duality, as seen with the Baphomet. As seen with the Baphomet, it's basically all of manifestation of Satan, the Baphomet. It's amazing, truly. But again, to the Luciferians, the color purple is a symbol of merging the polar opposites together, an amalgamation of duality. As seen with the Baphomet, the color red represents Joachim, the blue represents Boaz, and if you mix red and blue together, it makes purple. It can also represent false enlightenment or New World Order of Lucifer, because that's exactly what's being brought in, is the New World Order of Lucifer. All right, my friends, the beast system right in front of our noses. Again, we've been covering the 88 code. We did the LA fires. When we were doing the LA fires, if those who know, Brother Ian's been catching the 88 code since the LA fires. Okay. This was still frames from the LA fires. And this is 9/11 here. Because it's all spellcasting rituals done on the world stage, false flags and whatnot. But yes, it's why he rocked that purple tie and didn't put his hand on the Bible. Yep. Sure not. She looks pretty. Again, he was inaugurated under the apotheosis of George Washington here doing what? The as above, so below Baphomet hand sign. Okay. The Trumpster was inaugurated literally under the apotheosis of George Washington. George Washington here doing literally the Baphomet as above, so below hand sign. These people are princes of the darkness of this world. Okay. And remember, Satan, the Antichrist, comes to exalt himself above all that is called God or that is worship. And what does apotheosis mean? Let's see. You don't know. Apotheosis is derived from the Greek word for to deify. Is the elevation of a human idea or subject to divine status. And here you got this character being inaugurated under the apotheosis of George Washington here, doing the as above, so below. What? Come on, my friends. It doesn't get more blatant than that. Again, as above, so below, going into solve and coagulate. It doesn't get more blatant than this. I mean, come on, my friends. Revelation 18:23. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. For by thy sorceries For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Pharmakia, sorcery, witchcraft, the use of drugs, potions, and enchantments. By extension, the occult. By extension, the occult. Then you wonder why Brother Ian wants to expose these people all the time in their occult, esoteric, symbolic languages, basically telling you they're ushering in the beast. I'm wrong for doing that? No, I'm doing exactly what I'm called to do. For those who want to try to demonize Brother Ian for exposing the occult and witchcraft. Okay. By extension, the occult, witchcraft, by implication, the remedy, the cure. Interesting. For by thy pharmakia were all nations deceived. That's Revelation. False flag. Hex. Divide and conquer. All right. 4, 7, 47, 88, 6, 2, that's 8, 2 8s, 88, 47, 11, 88. Coincidence. It's not coincidence that the whole floor is a cube. It's not coincidence that the whole floor are literal cubes. Because this represents the hex. All right, the control. It was a psyop. These are cubes, just like the cube of Saturn. But why, Brother Ian? Why? Again, they tell you in the numerology, the 47, the 11, 88. 88 beast, 47 beast. Interesting, 11 beast. For the one in the chat, if you see it, we already saw the gematria. 80 beast is 11, 47, and 88. We get all three of those in this. We get 47, we get 88, and we get 11. Interesting. And we get the cube. All in. By the way, this is a still frame they gave us. Okay. This is a false flag. It's a hex. Spellcasting, black magic, alchemy. Right in front of your face. Okay. These are blatant cubes. If you have any level of depth perception, you can perceive that it's a two-dimensional carpet giving you that three-dimensional cube because it's a false flag. And it's all a part of Satan's Saturn cube matrix of deception. All right. Of course, they tell you it's conspiracy theory. The Saturn cube matrix represents a complex belief system asserting that reality is a manufactured 3D simulation designed to contain human consciousness. The black cube is viewed as the signature of Saturn, symbolizing limitation, time, and material control. That's exactly. All right. Lord of time, karma. That explains again the revelation of method, all the predictive programming of 9/11 and these certain events. Because again, they worship Saturn, who is the Lord of time and karma. All right. This is all about control, spell casting, and control of the conscience through trauma-based mind control. Okay, these are all different black cubes that are systematically placed throughout the earth. And again, this takes us all back. Yes, all roads lead to Satan. Absolutely. Absolutely. But apparently Saturn is a huge aspect and proponent to this, to the worship of Satan. From my studying, Saturn is a huge proponent to the worship of Satan. From my research. Okay. Here we have, again, the Mecca. They rotate around the black cube, and the literal cube on Saturn's hexagon rotates. Okay. Which another thing that's interesting is that even the manifesto that this character Cole Allen released was called Cold Force Friendly Federal Assassin. Cold Force. And did you know that Saturn is the god of winter, or rules the winter season, specifically in the northern hemisphere, as the cold and dry? Interesting. Very subtle connection. Very subtle Saturn connection. We also get a 47 out of the name of Cole Allen. That good old 11. All right. Just for more gematria and blatant numerology connections regarding the Donald Trump false Christ Messiah, just looking at the blatant times here, we get July, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, which is 7. 7 being the number of completion. G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. G, which again takes us to what? What is the G? 7 being, again, spiritual completion, and 7 being the G in the Freemason compass. So we had this psyop. This is just another example. This is no different from the Cole Allen psyop. All right. So again, we have the 6-1, or the as above, so below. We'll explain that in a second. But the more damning ones, the more damning evidence is this right here. They give you the G, they give you the 7, the number of completion, and they give you the 6-7, the 13. All right. 6-7 is 13, as above, so below. Again, that's another reference to Saturn. And of course, the more even damning one is the fact that he was so coincidentally shot at 6-11, which is, of course, the good old 9/11. Like how he's the 45th and the 47th president, 9/11. You mean how 9/11 in Roman numerals gives you the Saturn's hex? Interesting. All just coincidence. He was shot at July 7, G 13, 6-7 at 9/11. Interesting. Let's take it even further. Brother, there's no way further than that. Watch me. Watch. To the glory of the living God, exposing these workers of iniquity. We also have this character who proclaimed this about the shooting.
Who was chosen to assist the Jews in reestablishing themselves in the land of Israel after their 70-year exile in Babylon. The current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027.
All right. So again, just more pointing to the fact that, and again, he was shot at Butler. So that's another thing that's very interesting with what this rabbi says, is that, again, he was symbolically shot according to the book of Exodus, which mentions that a servant of Israel should be pierced in the right ear. He's claiming that that incident was a divine representation or manifestation of that verse in Exodus. And again, that's very interesting, being that this is the synagogue of Satan speaking. All right. But another thing we have to understand about another subtle Saturn reference is, again, Black Rock. Black Rock is, again, another subtle reference to Saturn. But Black Rock holds positions of thousands of companies worldwide, of SEC, indicating over 5,500 total positions. These people basically control everything. All right. And again, their name is Black Rock, which is, again, another subtle connection to Saturn. But again, what do we get in the address of Black Rock headquarters? We get the good old pillars of Freemasonry. All right. I showed this to you to show you that it's not coincidence, that the 11 is very symbolic in the occult and esoteric. All right. It's basically a portal. Okay. Black Rock's headquarters is located at 50 Hudson Yards, New York, 10001. Again, giving you the good old pillars of Freemasonry. All right. Or the 11. Okay. Again, this is the implementation of the beast system. We know that Albania has appointed the world's first AI-generated prime minister to avoid corruption. Again, all these things under the guide of avoiding corruption. Do you think it's a coincidence that the Epstein files were released now? Maybe you think that's going to help people soften up to the idea of AI governing or AI governance. Interesting. Maybe that was all a part of the agenda in the first place. Well, Albania has appointed the world's first AI-generated minister to avoid corruption. And by the way, her name is Diela, meaning sun in Albania. And we all know Apollo is a sun god. So again, I believe that could be another subtle Apollo reference. Okay, again, Apollo, a major Greek deity, is widely recognized as the god of the sun, light, music, poetry, prophecy, and healing. Light and healing. Light and healing. Interesting. Light and healing. Maybe an Apollo reference? I guess that's up to the eye of the beholder. I'll digress. Good. More evidence that this character Trumpster worships Saturn is he has a black clock, a black and gold clock outside of his black and gold Trump Tower that is indicative of Apollo and Saturn. Okay, yes, Apollo and Saturn are profoundly connected within various esoteric, occult, and mythological traditions, often representing opposing yet complementary forces of light, youth, restriction, and time. Saturn rules the golden age. Interesting. And what did Trump say that we're being ushered into? The golden age of America. And Saturn rules the golden age. Interesting. Of peace. The golden age of peace. And Trump founded the Board of Peace. He was called the Prince of Peace on the menorah that he received from the Israelites, the synagogue of Satan, but is also associated with the limitation of time. Okay. So again, that is why he has the black cube on top of his tower and the black and gold clock in front of his tower. Again, more references to Apollo and Saturn. Okay. Again, we know that Trump on recently, many occasions, associated with the color gold. Again, gold is symbolic of enlightenment, going from that lead Saturn to Apollo gold, right? And why he erected a all gold statue of himself. Just more self-idolatry. And again, Trump mentioned that we are going into the golden age of America.
America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America.
All right. Again, we just learned that Saturn is the god or the ruler of the golden age. And again, this would take us into the Novus Ordo Seclorum Cumean prophecy, talisman of the United States currency, which is basically, again, a talisman predicting and ushering in and summoning the Antichrist. Okay, but we have Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is derived from a Cumean Sibyl prophecy. A Sibyl is a prophetess of Apollo, but Novus Ordo Seclorum is New Order of the Ages. It represents the Cumean Sibyl's prophecy. All right, but the Cumean Sibyl prophecy or prophetess prophesied of what? Heralds the return of a golden age and Saturn's reign, signaling the end of an iron race and the birth of a divine child who brings peace. Interesting. The prophecy marks the end of the last age and the start of the new. Glorious cycle of centuries, offerings associated with the idyllic, prosperous reign of Saturn or Kronos. The prosperous reign of Saturn the black cube or Kronos, the god of time. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Again, Novus Ordo Seclorum, right on the dollar bill this whole time, along with many other esoteric, blatant, occult, blatant. I mean, I'm only 30 years old, guys, my friends, sisters, and brothers. So, I mean, somebody's got to expose it. I mean, nobody else told me about this. Okay, so again, Novus Ordo Seclorum is derived from a Cumean Sibyl's prophecy of a golden age, aka the reign of Saturn. And Trump announces this in September 23rd, which is 2/3 or 33.
America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America.
All coincidence. All coincidence. Okay. Again, Trump referred to himself as the father of the vaccine. Okay, and again, we know that Apollo is both the bringer in of plague and the healer of plague. All right. And again, we also discussed the predictive programming of Resident Evil and the T virus. There was a virus in Resident Evil, which is major predictive programming, but the virus was called T virus. And T virus, give me a second, equals 19 in gematria. Okay, which is crazy. So T virus is 19, like COVID-19, and it's 28, and there's that 88 again. And again, event 201, or the 2 becoming 1, took place, or the tabletop took place at 88 or 8, or excuse me, October 18th, or 2 8s. So this is very interesting. Okay, T virus. And T like Trump. Oh my gosh. I just got it. T like Trump virus. Yo, that's wild. That just clicked for me. Yo, do y'all know what movie I'm talking about? Yo, that's crazy. Yo. Yo. Hold up, bro. Hold up. Listen. The T virus, bro. In Resident Evil is 19, as in COVID-19. Not only is it 19, but it's 88. The T virus, the Trump virus. And Trump in gematria is 88. Bro, you can't make that up. Yo, bro. Yo, that's crazy, bro. You're witnessing a valid reaction right now. That is insane. Yo, that's wild. T-Rex says I'm reaching. Bro, are you not hearing all these connections? They're basically already planned this. Have you seen the T-Virus scene? Do I need to get copyrighted on this video because T-Rex doesn't believe that they predicted program the fact that the Trumpster was going to do this right here? That the event 201, which was held in a year before or a couple months before they actually happened, was under the Trump's presidency, and Trump will be the one to both oversee the coronavirus and heal it. Trump being associated with Apollo being both one that brings in virus and heals virus. How is that reaching, brother? The T virus. That's wild. I ain't even noticed that connection before, that T part. That's crazy. That's insane. Okay, I don't know how that's reaching, bro. That's blatant connections. I mean, do I need to show this the Resident Evil scene of what exactly they're saying? They talk about basically reenacting the biblical prophecy and pointing at the Bible. Y'all remember that scene, right? But to close this teaching, my friends, with some even more damning evidence, this thing likes to change. Now it doesn't want to say what you said before. Now it doesn't want to do it, but this is damning evidence regarding the 9/11 black magic ritual, trauma-based mind control. I'm trying to get it to say it, but now it's not saying it anymore. Let's see if it does it. It's not doing it anymore. They're such losers. But before, it's not doing it anymore. But before, it would put in parentheses Solomon, because that's what people would pronounce it as, because that's exactly what it represents. Is the Twin Towers represent? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what it represents. But this is just more damning. But they're not even doing it. It's not putting it in parentheses anymore. Hold up. I'm trying to get it to do it, bro. Well, it's not. It just did. It had it up earlier, man. Oh, they suck. All right, whatever, man. But yes, basically, the World Trade Center towers, including Building 7, was a recreation of Solomon's Temple. Yes, it's freaking insane. So stick with me, my friends. Again, you have the 7 World Trade Center. Again, 7 is G. That would give you the G in the Freemason compass. And again, 7 being completion. Okay, the spiritual or completion. But we have the Solomon brothers. Okay, it was also referred to as Solomon. They don't want to put it now, but they put in quotations Solomon, like Solomon out of the Bible. But Building World Trade Center 7 was referred to as Solomon Brothers Building, or Solomon, like from the Bible. And what's interesting is the Solomon Brothers Building and the Twin Towers would literally make up Solomon's Temple. That's basically what they recreated, is Solomon's Temple. Okay, with Building 7, again, 7 being G, and it was September. Sept is 7, so it's 7/11. Okay, so September. Sept means 7. Septum, 7. Okay, so September 11th or 7/11. So yes, it's 9/11, but another esoteric taking from that is September 11th or 7/11. Okay. And again, Building 7 being the Solomon Brothers building. So it was low-key basically an esoteric creation of Solomon's Temple. Again, Building 7 and the Twin Towers, this being referred to as Solomon's, and the Twin Pillars, just like the literal Temple of Solomon. And they crashed it, and an esoteric ritual. Okay. This was referred to as Solomon's. Again, it's World Trade Center 7 or G. G being the 7th letter of the alphabet. So it was basically a recreation of Solomon's Temple. Put a 1 in the chat if you're sticking with me. Okay. That's what this was. Okay. You have the north, which represents the hex, and you have the south, both on Saturn on the wandering the eye on the south and the hex on the north, which is why you have the north and south towers. Again, north and south, these were the twin towers, which were symbolic of what? The twin pillars of Freemasonry. Okay. The twin towers were symbolic of the twin pillars of Freemasonry. Okay, these are the twin pillars of Freemasonry. These are the twin towers, solve and coagula. They crash, a new substance is created, order out of chaos, and the two becomes one, solve and coagula. Twin towers, One World Trade Center, and they literally give you in the dimensions of the One World Trade Center, the as above, so below pyramids, and at the bottom of the One World Trade Center, they give you the black cubes of Saturn with the reflecting pools, which represent as above, so below as well. Okay, the two becoming one. The two becoming one, just like event 201. Okay. That's what it is. Okay. So yes, the literal creation of the World Trade Center 7 and the Twin Towers was basically an esoteric hidden creation, or recreation rather, of the Temple of Solomon, or Solomon's Temple. There we go with that 11 again. All right. Takes us back to again.
Welcome to the news at 11, where we'll be chatting to the Minister of Artificial Intelligence about recent accusations that he's not real.
In light of recent events, it begs.
Again. Not a coincidence. Okay. Okay. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against the worldly governors, the princes of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness, which are in high places. All right, my friends. Looks like you either don't understand most of these symbols. What don't I understand? Enlighten me. Like literally, enlighten me on what I don't understand. I'm curious. Because of Freemasons, I'm on several intelligence agencies' watch list online and in real life. I have Georgia Bureau of Investigation just camped out on me. I had to make one cry. But yeah, my friends, this is basically hidden in plain sight, revelation of method. Okay. Revelation method is copyright as well as cult C, describing a strategy where a hidden elite or crypto strategy, blah, blah, deliberately reveals their hidden plans, crimes, and occult methods to the public. This disclosure is not leak, but a calculated action, often hidden in plain sight through popular culture, news, and film, acting as a form of psychological warfare. All right. Okay, my friends. But yes, my friends, I hope that we were all enlightened by this information. The beast system is being put in place. The merging of technology and biology, final phase, the end game, biblical prophecy, a time of trouble, tribulation. For when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall cometh upon them. So again, I've done the best that I could, sisters and brothers. To the couple of souls that I am able to edify through this information, I appreciate you. I hope that what we discussed tonight helped put some dots together, help confirm where you are. But overall, my friends, I want us to understand that hard times are ahead. And if you desire to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. And again, that's not referring to temptation of the flesh. I'm speaking of temptation coming from our adversary, the wicked one. Okay, who's going to choke us out of the system. And soon again, we're not going to be able to buy, sell, or trade without the mark. But, and all in all, we're going to be delivered by our Father in heaven. I want to make that clear as well. But again, as an individual who, by God's grace, is not compromised through the veil of lasciviousness or whatever pure intentions that these characters have that make them think it's okay to be a monetized hireling, and they think it's okay to be monetized and peddle the milk of the gospel and not warn people because of their lack of discernment. Those who tune into these fellowships are being told exactly what's happening and what's going to happen. And I believe this is going to manifest in our lifetime. It already is. It's happening now. 2030, the year 33 is right around the corner, my friends. Share this video with whoever you would like to. If you think people have the enough attention span to sit down for 2 hours and listen to a complete stranger. Again, for those who do listen, I truly believe that you are part of the elect. If you listen to me. And the Father's drawing you out of the system, revealing the system to you, giving you the discernment. And we're slowly being, again, taken out of her. Physically. Not worrying about money, not worrying about the things of this world, but worrying about doing what's pleasing to the Father. And as far as I'm concerned, that's warning people around me of the beast system. Again, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man, as in the days of Lot. All right. But tribulation is ahead, my friends. God bless you all. Real assistant, sister Marsha Fish, O. Marglis, and everybody else, my friends. While it is still day, let us work and labor for the Lord by His grace. But there's coming a day or a night where we will no longer be able to work. So I'm just doing what I can do while I can still do it. God bless.